Don't you love it when technology doesn't want to work with you?
I was like, I thought it was my computer. I was like,
thought it was mine too.
Not to peek behind the curtain, but like usually I can see the video play and all that from my side of things. For some reason, I can't do that right now. So it's weird. But we are live, I think.
We have the same technology folks as AEW on some nights, so that makes sense.
But welcome to another All Elite Ensemble. I'm super excited. My name is Mikey, also known as El Jefe around these parts, and I am joined by my AEW co-host. First and foremost, we got to get through the name puns this week. Mina, what is this? I can't even, JBL. Like, what is this name?
It sounds delicious. Like, I'd probably
delicious.
order that.
You have to kiss it first, and then it'll afterwards you eat it.
But
they are Greek.
That is very true. JBL is in the house. Also in the house tonight is the professor, who is not in his usual spot.
No, I'm in a boomer house that I could not afford in any other way. JVL and I were trying to find you in the crowd. We know you were here for the 4-hour epic of this. Yes. I was way off. JVL thinks he saw you.
I do. I believe
I have no idea. Have you gone back to look and find yourself? You're muted, Mikey. Technology.
Technology.
Nope, oh, you're muted permanently? Did you permanently mute yourself?
Oh, no.
There we go. I don't know what happened, y'all. This is crazy.
See, he goes away for 1 week and goes to a live show, and all of a sudden, everything.
He was just making a Young Bucks joke. That's why they bleeped him.
Everything is on fire, but not really right now. But no, I'm going to go back later to at least her Dynamite portion to see. They didn't show us on Collision because me and Mama Laguillo sat down and watched Collision on Saturday from beginning to end. And I will let you definitely know right now, the order in which we saw things on Collision did not happen that way live.
Ooh. Interesting.
Which is crazy, but
Editing.
Also, we got none of the backstage stuff, none of the pre-tape promos except for MJF and MVP talking to Mystico and Briscoe, which we'll get into. But we are here tonight, this evening, to go over the special Dynamite 300 and Collision 100 episodes. It's crazy that we've made it this far in AEW's 5-year history, y'all. This is wild. Of course, I will also be giving my insights since I was there live last week for the tapings and give you a little bit of fun. Of course, I'm wearing my new Will Ospreay thing. So
fantastic, yeah.
That was like really great. But before we get into all that, go ahead.
I'm just saying the professor looks like he's about to sell us a timeshare somewhere. I just don't know how to tiger in the background and
It looks like a YouTube short ad. Like, hi, 4 years ago I was living in a van, and now
hi, are you trying to escape America? I have so many ways that I can help you.
Come here to Sweden.
Be like, and now our special guest, Childish Gambino. This is America.
That song is more and more accurate every year. It's ridiculous.
It was accurate when it came out. I mean, come on.
It hasn't faded at all, I guess. It's still there.
Very true. But I do a lot of the talking for a majority of these shows. I will say, though, CMLL, it is not mostly me, which is great. But even still, it finds a way to show me.
There's 12 hosts. Mikey is 9 of them.
Hey, I mean, we're not going to get into
It's true. You do everything.
We may be figments of Mikey's imagination. Stay tuned to find out and listen while you're working on your job.
I do a lot, you guys, but that is okay because I get a little bit of a break next week. So good luck. Anywho, I'm just kidding. No, but we are here tonight to review Dynamite 300 and a Collision 100, as well as make our predictions for All in Texas at the end of the show. So let's just jump straight into everything. So we're going to start with AEW Dynamite 300.
We have been confirmed we can be seen at least on Twitch because Kilt can see us.
Hey, yes. Twitch works.
Kilt's like, I totally am a figment of everyone's nation.
You're from Florida. I'm not sure he knows what reality is, so good luck to you.
It is crazy for sure. But we're going to jump straight into Dynamite 300 because we kick things off with this face-off.
To set this face-up, before we're even doing this, Professor, this is the segment I saw Mikey.
This is the segment I saw Mikey. But I saw Mikey like 5 times.
He's right there, right there, and right there.
Coming to us live, because this was a live airing / taping for Dynamite 300. Coming to you live from the Toyota Arena in Ontario, California. We kick things off with our number 1 contender for the AEW World Champion, Hangman Adam Page. We love Aggro Page, Redemptive Page, Redemptive Paladin Page. Y'all know he probably plays D&D. If that's true, Hangman.
No, he plays Deadlands. He doesn't play D&D. He plays Deadlands.
That's also very true.
He's the Assassin's Creed nerd, right? Isn't it him?
That would be... It could be, but that's mostly Will.
Right, of course.
Ospreay has the actual Assassin's Creed tattoo somewhere on that little body of his.
But I'm dead sure he plays Deadlands. He has to play Deadlands.
regardless of what he plays, I want to one shot with him and Athena and Billy. That would be amazing.
Yeah, he's got a dungeon.
Anyways, but Hangman doesn't mince no words. He literally comes out and he's gonna fight Moxley with everything he got, and he literally tells him, "Is like, I'm not gonna leave you or anybody else standing. So I want to challenge you to a Texas death match." And I was like, "Oh boy, here we go." I was like,
how are they gonna top him getting a needle through Swerve's lip? Like,
there are so many infamous moments in the Texas death matches we have seen recently.
This should just be greatest hits of death. This should be spaghetti head. This should be needle through lip. This should be Terry Funk explosions and
somebody getting choked out with a chain over the top rope was wild to see.
Just do everything.
Can we have the crappy sparklers where Eddie Kingston tries to save him?
Yeah. Gosh,
why not?
That match was, but of course, then we get the Death Riders coming out with John Moxley and Marina Shafir, which was really it was very surreal watching them walk in front of us. I was like, Marina, I love you.
Well, I love that John also brought, like, John Moxley's going, you're not ready for this. You don't want this. I'm like, you do know he's the one that's been getting all these matches. I mean, he addresses it later, but I'm like, that's kind of a weird thing. Like, you don't want this. Yes, he does. He did just say it, John. And who are you to say he doesn't want it? The man that bleeds just by looking at himself in the mirror. So, like,
which is very true. And I'm like, Moxley, he beat you in a Texas death match before at a pay-per-view. So I'm like, what are we talking about? But Mox is like, nah, you're not ready for this, and declines at first. And then the last thing he says before leaving and then coming back, Moxley says, is that Hangman doesn't have what it takes to do what needs to be done to get this championship from him. I was like, Moxley, are we sure we're talking to the right person? But anyways,
I thought the whole promo section of this was actually pretty solid compared to what we've had the last few weeks. I didn't hate this.
Really?
What bothered me, I think it fell apart. Well, I think we're getting to it. I didn't hate this narrative-wise. I thought it was a little shoehorned. Fine. The tantrum that Moxley throws in a few seconds is hysterical to me. We could talk about that.
I mean, when he has a mini stroke in the ring and can't find his words?
Yes.
That was wild to witness.
But then does it again after what Hangman does, which I don't want to bury the lead, but it's just sort of like, he's not even using words anymore. He's like, what are we doing?
All I can think of is he's got like extreme dad brain because his daughter is getting like, he's 4 or 5 right now. And he just has not been sleeping at all.
Oh, yeah.
This was wild, but of course, Hangman proves Moxley wrong, that he does have what it takes, and there's a whole set of things that happen, right?
Yes.
So
the meth riders come out, they get their asses.
Claudio, and tonight will be the night that I fall for you. Wheeler Yuta, fall for you. They come out to beat up Hangman. We get all that happening. They leave. Hangman is just like, you're going to have to kill me, bitch. And I was like, oh my gosh.
The ops come out.
Yeah, they try to get back in. The ops come out as the bodyguards, which is crazy to me and all that stuff. But essentially, what ends up happening is that Hangman says he does what it takes. Buckshots lariats Marina Shafir.
Oh, but this is after she slapped him a good half dozen times and like provoked him.
It's crazy. Which leads us to what we are getting, which is a Texas death match. Talk amongst yourself for about a minute. I'll be right back.
I did not. I love that it's a Texas death match. I have no problem with that. What was funny to me was Moxley throwing the tantrum after Hangman destroys Shafir. Oh my God, I can't believe it. It's like, what did you just...
You left her there to get that. I mean, you sent her in for this express purpose. And
yes,
but it's the hand movements. He looks like he's a man, like a marionette that the strings are getting tangled,
which is so funny. Because the promo we had last week was like this cool, brooding, solid, like, oh, wow, look at that. And then this week to go full Muppet.
I mean, it makes me think, what take was that?
Oh, that's a good point. They had done 30 takes and he's just fucking exhausted.
Exactly. And that's when it works the best because you're done, you're emotionally drained.
Yeah.
It all seems to work. Yeah, that's why I was wondering, like, you thought, when you said you thought this worked, I'm like, from a side of it did, but just Moxley did not hold up his end on most of this. It came down to his bodyguards and everyone else doing their stuff around him. But we know this death match is going to be bloody as hell on both ends. Probably going to bleed in the first 5 minutes, either on purpose or not. I don't know how they're going to top half the other stuff that's happened even this year in other death matches we've had. But then it's going to be shenanigans the entire time. It's going to be everybody in the locker room coming out to have the dustiest of dusty finishes.
Probably.
I
And,
just don't-
and that's going to be their tribute to Texas, right? Like that's going to be kind of their nod to look where we are sort of thing.
Right. I just don't know if that means Hangman's actually winning.
Yeah. Well, see, I thought Hangman was winning up until this point. I was like, Moxley doesn't seem like he wants the title. He's kind of indifferent to the whole thing. He put it in a suitcase. He doesn't even carry it. Like I get the impression he doesn't kind of like what, he's just sort of like, I don't like this. We got to get out of this. Let me drop the title. Let's disband for a little bit. I'll come back in a different way. Now, it's really only interesting if he wins now and then Hangman has something to do after the fact, now that he's called his shot.
Right.
But now, based on what happens later on in Dynamite, which we'll talk about when we get there, I'm like, you're not going to have all these folks lose in one night, are you?
Well, I mean, this is the WrestleMania. You never know. That's the biggest thing.
I guess so, yeah. Yeah.
I just, it muddies the waters enough that I don't know what's about to happen. And I feel like there's also a weird dusty finish at the top where they crack that briefcase open and there's nothing in it.
Oh, well, they got to do the whole Pulp Fiction thing. They got to open it. It's got to light up. They got to be all excited and then close it again. Like that's the only thing that's going to work at this point.
Yeah, pretty much. Maria Shafir by herself doing that would be amazing.
Or they open it and a series of wrestlers start coming out of it and it just doesn't stop. And folks are just
all
climbing.
the injured wrestlers coming back. That's where they've been the whole time, locked up inside the briefcase. Chris Jericho pulls himself out of there.
Bjorn Kringleson walks out.
And I thought my sack was deep.
That's not a deep cut.
Those of you that have no idea what that reference is, you're going to learn it in a few months. Don't worry, it's coming back.
We'll figure something out. We'll figure something out. But again, this is going to be the most Avenger-esque overbooked thing.
Right. Everyone shows up to get bloody and do things here.
It's going to be wild.
I don't know.
So,
I think that I don't mean to beat this to death. We got a lot to talk about. I think the danger in this is that they try to up everything they've done. Does that make sense? They try to go, let's do something no one's ever done. Let's get a guillotine or whatever it is, right? Like they try to do one more thing instead of just, hey, go out there, do what you two do best, do it, 20, 30-minute bloody mess, and everyone's going to go, God, that's awesome. I agree. If it turns into an overbooked S show, then
I also wonder with the amount of violence and stuff that's about to happen on this show going into Texas as we're doing, is there going to be an acknowledgement of what's been going on tragically all around them? And like, is this something that should be going on?
That's
with that
a good
stuff?
question.
Sure.
Because the word death in there, and they've now had, we're not going to get into the weeds on this, but
sure,
the amount of devastation that has gone on, does this feel like it maybe needs to be changed? I don't know.
We shall see.
Another promotion flew to that one country after things happened near that other country.
We don't, we try to.
But they're known for that.
That's true, but who knows? We'll see. On Saturday, we'll see what happens. But we got to move on because we got a lot to talk about. So let's kick off with our first official match of Dynamite 300, which is for the TBS Championship.
Now you know why my name is the way it is.
This is Mercedes Moné defending her TBS Championship against challenger in Mina Shirakawa. This was actually a really fun match to witness live. Mina is great. This is the second time that me and Mama Lagulo have witnessed this interaction, because prior to this, these two plus Azumi were at Resurgence at the New Japan show we were back in May. I enjoyed this match. I like this. I was rooting for Mina so hard.
I think we all
But
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Tony was on commentary, so technically she didn't get involved, but she also did not listen to Mina about not coming out.
She didn't do anything. I don't know if you caught what was going on, Mikey. She was catatonic at the table the entire time.
Yeah, she sat there at her dinner table just kind of watching, stunned at what she was saying.
Involved. Yeah, so she stayed true to her word. Mina, we love you so much here. Unfortunately, it was not enough. Mercedes does retain her TBS championship. But there was a lot of fun stuff here. Mercedes really loves the Meteor. I'm not even going to front. I was like, I think I counted like 4 times she did the Meteor in this one.
Yeah, she did like 4 or 5 of those. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I thought
every part of the ring.
The beginning, I felt like they were on the same page, but this was still the same negotiation of how fast am I allowed to work? How far are we going to take this? Right. I didn't think Mina slowed down necessarily. I thought Monet had to catch up a few times in some of the spots at the top of this. Nothing was bad. This was a fun match. This was a great match. And I like where Mercedes Monet has been going wrestling wise and ring wise the last few times we've seen her. And I think that's right. And I think Mina brought that out in her for sure. Yeah. Like 5 or 6 Meteoras.
Well, and they worked a fast match. I come back to well worked pretty much between the two of them. They understood what the assignment was. The only clunky part for me was the kind of like back and forth where we're switching our finisher to finisher. because the setup from Monet's is so hard to do that it makes it impossible to make that look smooth.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'm glad she's been relying more on her submission finisher for this and like the roll up stuff. So we'll see how this goes. But this Muddy the Water, I said if she dropped that title tonight, then she was definitely beating Tony next week, but she didn't. So I'm still on the thing of I think Tony's losing, but and this has kind of been the groundswell I've been hearing a lot on a lot of wrestling stuff lately in the last week. Has been, we all believed that the right thing to do was give it to Mercedes, like put the title on her, but now it's like, no, I don't know. It seems like everyone's kind of turning and going, no, it's not time for Tony to lose. So I don't know how this is going to end up, but I still feel in my waters that we're going to have an outcome we're not going to enjoy.
And I feel, correct me if I'm wrong, we all, going into Tony Mariah, we were sort of like, yeah, this can't happen, this can't happen. And then the last 2 weeks we went, oh, this has to happen. And when it did, we went, yes, this is where it should go. So I'm not too dissimilar, but you're right. I thought I knew my picks. And after we had talked, like, oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, this and this.
Right.
Is she really going to do, Thanos the belt collector? Like, okay, I guess that's where we're going.
Who knows at this point?
I think the excitement for whatever that was has died a bit lately. I think in the last week or two, it's kind of finally like settling like, oh, yeah, I guess it's not necessary anymore. And Tony's been like upping her profile in the general public lately, especially like the stuff around, all the Superman stuff from this was great. I loved every bit of it. It was so fun.
Gosh. I really did love it.
I did enjoy it for as campy and weird as it was. Like Kenny Omega in a cape. Like, give me that, please. I love that.
Yeah, we'll get to it with Kenny. I cried a little bit, but so Mercedes begins to fight. Well, Mercedes beats up on Mina, and then Tony comes in for the save from the commentary desk. Mercedes proceeds to lick the cake that Tony had, and then just head back to the backstage area. I was like, man, I wanted some of that cake. And it was a cake congratulating Tony on 1,000 matches. I was like, damn, already?
Wow.
Yeah.
1,000 matches for her career or in AEW?
I was going to say, it can't be AEW.
Can't be AEW. That's only 300 Dynamite.
Well, and
I would say maybe career.
It's got to be career, right?
Yeah, which is still crazy.
That's insane.
So we love Tony Storm. Very interested to see what's going to happen. We'll get into our predictions for All In at the very end. But yeah, so again, all right. So within the span of like 10 minutes for us that was there, listen, as a Southern California boy, as much as I don't like the Young Bucks' character right now, and they're kind of cringy and corny a little bit, dare I say, I don't know if they have to pay royalties, but watching In and Out Beyond national television, I was just like, I can't be mad. And of course, Southern California, I was going to say, I was just like, I recognize some of these areas, and we'll talk about it, especially with you, Max Caster, talking about the Inland Empire. I was like, ooh. So, but
those of you don't know, Inland Empire in Grand Theft Auto is where Trevor lives. That's, if you need to know the map, that's kind of how that area works.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. There's also a lot of industrial in the Inland Empire as well, so it's kind of crazy. But we get segments of the Young Bucks revisiting their home, their home, their school, like getting a tour. We're going to see them in action a little bit later tonight. So that was this segment and a little bit before. But right now, this match was kind of great too. Brody King is still baby daddy.
He wrecked house. It was wonderful.
Oh my! I was like,
great.
He brutalized everybody. But this was a fatal 4-way to see who would end up getting the number 2 spot in the Casino Gauntlet match at All In Texas. So this is our no kings except if they're named Brody King, and MJF, who has a kosher pickle. Mark Briscoe, we're going to talk about it in a little bit.
So good.
Anthony Bowens, who I love seeing wrestle, but I don't know what we're doing. We're going to talk about it when we get to Collision, because I'm like, this on-again, off-again relationship with Billy Gunn is kind of getting too crazy. And then, of course, the homie to the channel, AR Fox.
Loved the stereo squash things that Brody King did on the outside to both Bowens and AR Fox. That was crazy and took them out. I love the commentary, and even MJF, when he was being smart and getting on commentary, were like upping AR Fox. They were giving him his props for flying, and he was doing some random stuff that like probably shouldn't have worked, and a couple times it didn't, but he was being innovative. It was great. I love watching him on his stuff.
Yeah. He seems to have ideas and just go, I'm gonna try this, and just hope that the other dude catches him. But it's never, I don't want to say it's never dangerous, but it's always like on me. Like, hey, just catch my feet. Okay. What are you doing?
Whatever
it is, right?
Also, it did not take long though, because Brody King, there was a moment in this match that he made his new Twitter profile picture, which this is great.
oh yeah, that's the one.
Money.
Aggressive, manly hung from behind. Yeah.
Good night indeed.
That chop MJF took.
That was so crazy.
Like, wasn't it Brody King that chopped Simon Miller too? And Simon Miller
it
was like,
was.
"Oh my God, I'm gonna die."
Yes, Brody King
Man.
is a very heavy-handed man.
Beautiful. I thought this was great. We all kind of knew what was going to happen. We knew what the scripted ending was going to be. I loved how we got there. I thought this was fantastic. And I don't really love, like, this tends to drive me crazy. This was great. Brody King doing that cannonball into all three of them. Like,
There was a lot of great spots in here, and I love this. It was a car crash, but it was very well organized for a car crash, if that makes any sense. Everyone played their part. Everyone got to show off some stuff. Everybody was jumping off things too, which was really fun. We figured MJF was going to win this because that's the story we've been telling, but I did not mind how we got there. MJF does end up winning this. He earns the number 2 spot in the men's casino gauntlet match. And then we get a little bit of some promo time. That shirt, Mark Briscoe, is actually on sale, so we gonna buy it. Be like,
no, is it really?
It really is. Go to AEWshop.com. The MJF has a tiny kosher pickle shirt is available, y'all.
I need to go check the price on that.
For real. So I'm like, this is great. So Mark Briscoe is tired of MJF calling him poor and everything else and just being a dillweed. So tomorrow night on Dynamite, and I kid you not, when we get to the graphics, Mark Briscoe wants to have a little talkie talk with MJF. And then, of course, because it's Mark Briscoe, the whole crowd in the arena started to say, talkie talk.
MJF's like yelling, he got that over? Talkie talk?
And kosher pickle too, man. It's Mark Briscoe. What you expect, Maxwell Jacob Freeman? Like
Sheldon, Bobby, and MVP trying not to laugh as Briscoe just gets all these dumb things over in succession as I'm crushing it.
Speaking of jumping back just quickly, do you remember when Off Match off the apron took out whoever it was, and Sheldon's giving him the thumbs up, like stop him from doing that? It was like all about that. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, I hope they have plans for all three of them. We know for Anthony Bowens they don't, but I really hope they're finding something to do with Brody. I want to see AR Fox more. Do something, man.
Yeah.
Get that passport fixed. Come on, man.
For reals. But this wasn't the only segment we got because we kind of combined 2 segments into one.
Well, yeah, because Jet Speed decided to go get their asses handed to them multiple times.
Why?
This is a pet peeve of mine. I'm really tired of these tape ribs situation. I have seen it too much this week in a bunch of promotions. I was like, put it on the arm, put it on a leg, do something. I'm tired of broken ribs.
Also, it looks like Speedball, his top ribs underneath his pecs are broken, but yet Kevin, he's got like down in his like abdomen. Like that's below his ribs.
He's got a hernia. That's what he's tucking it all in.
That's bowel gas is what he's got. Bad case of bowel gas.
something like this. I will say, though, I might be sore, though, because that 6-man scramble this past Saturday at Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling against the likes of like TJP and all of them was wild. Stay tuned for that review on Thursday.
But these two basically try to be Jeff Hardy versus The Undertaker from the early 2000s.
And it didn't. Sure. I love these two, but I was just like, it went on for a little bit too long for us.
It went on very long. I could only imagine what it was like in the crowd to sit through this thing never ending.
I will say the crowd was definitely behind Jet Speed, but it did take us a little bit long to get to the point where these two they're going to have to, Hurt Syndicate are going to have to kill Speedful Jet Speed at All in Texas if they want to retain those tag team championships. More on that in a little bit. And
that the whole phrase of "you're gonna have to kill me" thing is getting played out real fast between Hangman and these two. I think we heard it 2 more times this night.
It was Jeff Hardy's line.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
It's giving me the equivalent of, if you're gonna hit me, hit me. I was like, okay, calm down. But
hit me, daddy. Hit me.
No, that's Brody for later. Anywho,
Brody gonna chop you.
On top of all this, though, this sets up Shelton Benjamin versus Kevin Knight on Collision, which definitely got changed later in the evening, which becomes a triple threat for Collision, which, again, we'll talk about it when we get to Collision. But we move on because this was a banger. Like, this crowd was, from beginning to end, this crowd was all gas, no brakes. Like, this crowd was on their feet inside the arena, was wild. We were tired after this match, but we get our first of 2 heroes versus villains matches. This sees our ROH World Champion Bandito, who has had a hell of a week. a hell of a last 2 weeks in
Yeah.
everything that he's gotten to do, and he's about to have another one and another banger this Friday when he defends his title against Takeshita. But we get Bandito teaming up with Paragon, so Roddy Strong and Kyle O'Reilly, and they are taking on the team of Konosuke and the Young Bucks. This match was awesome. We had such a great time with this one.
Yeah. The Young Bucks actually know how to throw a super kick, and they look great.
They did. Even Roddy Strong looked competent. It was crazy.
Solid. I mean, it's a strange pairing, but by the end, I was like, oh, I enjoy this. The fact that the Young Bucks got over like faces the last, 45 seconds of this.
To be fair, even though they kind of got booed, we also kind of cheered them because this is their hometown. Yeah.
They were all over it. I was like, look at them getting the momentum here, which kind of took a little bit out of the promo that follows right after it, but we'll talk about that in a second.
But still.
This match was great. Bandito doing the one-armed thing on Takeshita.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was so good.
Ridiculous. He made Takeshita look like a little kid for a hot second, and then Takeshita destroys him. But still, like, oh my God. This was so much fun.
There is nothing you can say more to this other than the fact that we did take away the Bucks, take away Paragon. We need Takeshita Bandito like 2 or 3 more times somewhere out there.
I said this during the CMLL thing 2 weeks ago. I was like, I would love to see that. And now it's happening.
Well, I'm excited again. I'll be the only one who does the review for it unless somebody wants to join me. But we are getting Bandito versus Takeshita for the Ring of Honor World Championship. And I'm very interested to see if Takeshita wins and he takes that thing with him to Japan.
Oh, man.
Because he's going to be competing in the G1 as well. Takeshita's just living his best life right now, man. Like, this kid is crazy.
Yeah.
Gets to wrestle
Bandito at the end of this thing, too. Bandito got some extra height on that, whatever that power.
God.
I was like, how did they just a little extra foot here and there on these things is incredible.
I kid you not, all the international wrestlers on Dynamite 300 is like, let me see if I can create the biggest viral moment for everybody to talk about.
Sure.
This was this one. When we get to the main event, Bushi and Okada just like, I think somebody died.
You know they're trying to one-up the CMLL shows, too. It's like, we got to be better than that now.
And of course, it was so good. Yeah. Go ahead, Professor.
I agree with that. I was surprised. I was surprised I had fun watching this whole thing.
Too.
Here's the thing. Like, I know we say a lot of things about the Young Bucks, and I don't want to say they don't care, but when they put in the time and the effort to make everybody look good, including themselves, it works out for everyone. And this was one of those times. They also did the same thing at Resurgence, too. Now, this is not AEW, but they allowed the Bullet Club War Dogs to shine, and they even let the Good Brothers shine, too, because this was a big New Japan return for them as well after being released from the other company, which was also a really fun match. My mom has a crush on Nicholas. It's kind of fun to watch.
Not Matthew.
Oh, no, it's Matthew. Sorry.
Matthew?
It is Matthew.
Are we going to have a report on this from our reporter in the field, Mama Laguillo, at any point?
She is currently occupied with something else, but I will say she can give like a quick field report because she is going to pop in on Saturday for All In.
Okay.
So she said she wants to watch it or at least watch a little bit of it. So
we'll make a plan. All right.
Be fun.
Cool.
So I'm excited. Actually, you know what? After the review, I'll see if she'll come over to talk for a little bit, but I'll figure that out right now. Because right now, afterwards, everybody's getting fighty, everything. But we have Will and Swerve come out of nowhere, start attacking the Young Bucks, which then leads into a kind of bizarre promo.
Dissension in the ranks.
So Will does most of the talking. He once again reiterates that it's been about a week. You two, the Young Bucks, have not given us an answer about whether we're going to fight or not at All In. Bucks are like, no, because what's in it for us is basically what they got. And Will, being the little brother who's annoying sometimes and didn't check with older brother when they're fighting the school bullies, if you will, add some stakes. If the Young Bucks lose, as they were challenged last week, they would lose the EVP position and power. But if Will and Swerve lose the tag team match at All In, Swerve and Will cannot challenge for the AEW World Championship for a whole entire year. And Swerve literally just looks at Will like, what the are you doing? And then the Young Bucks agreed to the match. So I was like, oh, damn.
Shades of Cody early in AEW. So that's the thing I'm worried about there.
And I'm thinking in the back of my head, I was like, surely Will and Swerve won't lose. But then I'm like, oh, no, this might actually be a possibility.
This makes me think they're going to lose. Like, they're going to have now this split between Will and Swerve. Now they have a year to build a title, whatever, that they're going to try to get to. They're going to do the next All In Texas as it's been 1 year. Now he can finally defend for or fight for whatever it is. Unless this is the EVP's big exit, like JVL was talking about last week.
Yeah. Which is still on the cards for them at this point, where they want to step away from that. I mean, that's the thing they're fighting against, is that in the dirt sheets, is that true? But do we then do the year of Swerve and Will are going at each other for letting each other down? And you have that built in as well, which is a great storyline to take for about a year.
Sure. Could be.
So-
I don't know.
I mean, if we get some sort of shenanigans things, which we're going to get because it's Young Bucks in heel territory, I mean, I doubt they do this clean, whichever way this goes. But if they, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
so-
also don't, every time this comes up, it's like, you don't get to challenge for a year. I feel like those stakes are high, but those stakes aren't that high, right? It's still.
And if that actually happens where Swerve and Will lose, unless you're going to throw them into the tag team scene, like, it kind of puts you in a corner in terms of writing for some of your top talent. I mean, you can make them go after something else, but even still, it's just like, but this match is officially made for All in Texas. Before we get into the next bit, we kind of go to a commercial break, and we get about a couple of minutes before we come back on the air for our next match. And so we get this little segment with Will and Swerve, mostly Will talking. The Young Bucks kids were present for the whole entire show, and they were sitting in the front row, or at least on the floor section. Will Ospreay, I love you so freaking much. It's just like, listen, I know your dads are super cool. You grew up with them, but you can tell us this because you've been living with them forever. They're kind of dicks, aren't they? Like, that is exactly how he said it to these kids. He's like, your dads are kind of dicks. I was like, oops. It was so cute. It was so funny. And then, of course, we come back from break, which leads us into, even though this was not necessarily my favorite match at Dynamite 300, it's still a pretty fun match. I will say, though, I don't know what happened. I mean, it corrected itself, but I felt like Dralistico was like 2 steps behind for the first half of this match. I was like, what are we doing? What is happening?
Which you would think for Dralistico would be the least out of those that would happen.
Right?
I don't know.
So,
I enjoyed this match. I think that the Beast Mortos had so much fun during it. That was so much of just a good thing. But I
Beast
don't know.
Mortos, the camera kept catching Mortos like it was a photobomb. It was just at the last second it caught him spiraling out of the ring, or at the last second caught him headbutting or something else like that. I thought this was fun. I think the gear shift out of promo into match, I think caught all 4 of them a little bit, which again, I feel like I say this all the time. The first few seconds and minutes of this match, there was a little, where are we? What are we doing? Where are we? What are we doing? How fast are we going to work? Type of thing. But they found some great spots. And I mean, Will could work with anyone, and Swerve's, friggin' Swerve. Someone, I thought it was Mortos, maybe it was someone took a fall off the rope and hit the apron, and the camera cut away, and I was like, oh God, did he just break his leg? I guess he's okay. But that was something where
I think that was Mortos.
Is that
I think
Mortos
so.
who did it? Yeah, there was a moment where I was like, oh God, he's dead. Oh, he's alive. Oh, okay, great. I was in it. Swerve and Ospreay just work so well together. Like,
I'd watch them all day long, yeah.
same.
they weren't so good as who they are. They would be probably one of the greatest tag teams of all time by now, right? Like, they would just be remarkable.
Which could possibly, depending on what happens at All In, it could be a possibility. But Will and Swerve do pick up the victory here. They do beat Dralistico and Beast Mortos, attorney at Raw.
Oh, good. I'm a simple beast. I do not know the ways of laws of man.
I'm just a simple Beast Morto. Don't know your modern ways of being in American politics and
In the mask.
Again, another one. Beast Mortos is living his best life now. Now that CMLL has kind of, and Beast Mortos have come to an understanding after everything that happened 14 years ago. Listen, I love CMLL, but they be petty. If they're like your ex-girlfriend. They will hold a grudge ever. But since being able to be a part of Grand Slam Mexico, tomorrow evening you will catch, because Beast Mortos was at CMLL this past Friday. He's going to be there again this Friday. So I'm just like, this is great.
That's awesome.
It's so good. But we got to move on, though, because we got to talk about...
got a lot to do.
We got a
see,
lot.
my improv teacher is on this commercials all the time.
But we get to our main event of Dynamite 300.
Man.
This was so much fun. I mean, y'all know what I'm going to talk about.
Sure.
That maneuver from Ibushi to Okada, that power bomb. Oh my God, somebody died. Like, this match was awesome. It did take a little bit to start with, but then I was like, wow, I feel like I'm watching like 3 years ago New Japan when these two were there. I was like, this was fun. Was it full New Japan? No, but this is the closest that we're going to get here on the U.S. soils. Something tells me Kenny did talk to Kota about certain things because I was like, oh, okay, Kota, you seem to have fixed some things that we talked about last week that we kind of needed to see some fixing from you.
Sure.
And Okada, I love you. I like this match. This is so much fun. Again, it's completely different watching it on TV versus live because this crowd was also not letting up in their energy for this.
That kick over and over again. And Okada just eats it. It's like a bat. Boom! Like, oh my God, that's gorgeous. I know he's had 2 neck surgeries, something like that, right?
Yeah.
And you can kind of see how he's rehabbed by getting his traps up, getting his shoulders tight. Like he's really, I don't want to say stiff, but he's overbuilt the upper body to really take care of his neck. He took like 5 bumps on his spine. He sells that DDT by going straight up and skeleton and over. And Okada, who's amazing, is cradling his hand the whole time. And remarkable. Like these two work so well together. They hit so hard.
All this was missing was a Takeshita running in to kick and hit so hard too. All of a sudden we'd have an amazing match.
I thought this was great. I think you're right about Kenny talking to Ibushi a little bit, how in America they want a little bit of that cater to the audience, let us take a breath, I see you, I know you're listening, hey, come on, are you with me thing, a little bit more of the carnival thing, which is kind of in New Japan, but I think Ibushi did a little more of that this time.
Well, I think that's also for his safety as well, because he had been in such a space coming back from those surgeries where he was so rusty that Kenny's like, you're allowed to take a second there and recalibrate your balance and make sure you're set.
We also didn't know if Ibushi was ever going to be able to come back too, because like he said like last year during interviews that like he couldn't feel his body, like it wasn't supporting him, like it was he felt like it was shutting down because it wasn't responding the way it was supposed to. It was really scary for Ibushi.
That atrophy stuff is crazy. A lot of the early UFC fighters from the late 90s, Frank Mir and a few Boss Rutan, have spine things and arm things where now they're in their early 50s, late 40s, and they're just falling apart. That's scary stuff, man.
Yeah. You give a lot.
It really is. But this was such a fun match. Okada does end up picking up the victory here. You know, he and the rest of the squad, because Don Callis is also out here along with Lance Archer. Good on Lance for, keeping the kayfabe alive because he had whole outfit changes between the 2 shows, which was really, really good. Good on you, lad.
And for a man his size, to find 2 outfits is just crazy.
For reals. Like, it wasn't even just a regular t-shirt change. He had different shorts. The shoes were different. I was just like, I think you're my hero now. But the Don Callis family are here with, Okada and Lance Archer beating up with Don Callis in the ring. Of course, I figured this was going to happen. But we get the proverbial battle cry theme playing. Kenny Omega comes out with a chair for the save. And we get a reunited Golden Lovers.
They almost kiss. I was yelling kiss in my
I was yelling for it.
There were a couple of chances where they're like, kiss. It was just like the biggest will they, won't they in professional wrestling.
So good.
It's like the final verdict is they probably smashed.
Oh, easy. Right after the show. Right after.
Look at that face. That's the face of someone smashing. Like, just look at his face.
He's like, this is my booth, eh? Y'all will not touch him.
This is I'm not going to go stone face like John Cena. I'm actually going to have emotion.
Sure, yeah. Over the shoulder, yeah.
Yeah.
So Kenny has returned after getting beat up 2.5 weeks ago, saves Ibushi. Dynamite 300 goes off the air. But we did get a really fun promo from Kenny in between the tapings of this and and Collision, which was a lot of fun. He thanked the fans. He talked about how he was almost in tears because Kenny said he didn't truly figured out when he was dealing with the whole diverticulitis situation for the last 1.5 to 2 years. He was not sure if he would ever come back and be able to wrestle in the ring. And the fact that AEW has been here for this whole time and its fans, like everybody in the audience and who are watching at home, like made this a dream for him, and he got to reunite with his best friend and Kota Ibushi as well. There were a little bit of tears from us audience members when Kenny was cutting this. So I was like, and then of course he signs off with, and I bid you adieu. Kota Ibushi pulled the blood and guts spot where he did the thing into the tax, and then he did the thing into the chair, and Kenny's just like, bro, we talked about this. I love Kota so much, but Dynamite 300, that was a freaking solid show, and I was just like, I enjoyed everything that we got to see.
Super fun,
It was worthy of being the 300th episode. It definitely lived up to its bill.
It was great. Tony Khan came out, and he also thanked the fans, like, in between the taping.
Did he scream, or did he actually thank you?
Well, he had to scream for a little bit, because the sound people kept playing the music, but then he toned it down once it went off, but Listen, I love Tony Khan. We're gonna talk about it in a little bit.
I love all of you.
Yeah, but like shaking. I just want to let you all know. It's like, whoa, Tony.
We love Tony Khan.
My father never hugged me.
He's on the spectrum, and we love him so much.
Is
But
he?
Yes.
yes,
That
100%.
explains a lot.
Game
that
sees game.
explains.
Like,
That
listen,
explains a whole
and plus,
lot.
Mama Laguillo clocked it real hard. She's just like, oh yeah, he's on the spectrum for sure. Because again, Mama Laguillo, for those of you who don't know, works in special education, so she got these things clocked.
I should
But
have.
she's like, I love him.
I should have tagged that. I was a para. I should have noticed that. But in San Francisco, he held it together really well then. I just thought that makes way more
Excited.
sense. Yeah.
It was
That makes way
crazy.
more sense.
But
it's
that-
not cocaine, John.
It's not this
See,
time
that's
anyway. But that takes care of AEW Dynamite. So now let's jump into Collision 100 because there was also a lot of emotions and things that went down here for me being there live. So
I also have to say quickly, I'm just sad. They're still using Saturday Night's Alright for Fighting as their theme song. When are they going to switch to Power Man 5000 when worlds collide? Like, that needs to happen.
Oh.
I mean, shoot, we changed Dynamite's theme to Sum 41's You Wanted War. So I'm like, I think Collision should get an upgraded theme song.
I'm
There are
ready to come.
And I'm just
Oh, that'd be
saying,
so good.
I'm not claiming to know how federations deal with when it comes to these kinds of stuff, but because AEW is, let's just say it, more progressive than certain other promotions out here, I was just like, there are so
Look
many
at you,
bands.
GCW.
Yeah, there are so many bands that you can get to do these theme songs. There's a whole bunch of like POC fronted bands. I'm just saying Magnolia,
Power Man 5000 probably wouldn't even care. They just
That's
like,
true.
yeah, go ahead, take it. That's fine.
But let's jump into what kicked off Collision 100. It was story time with Adam Cole, baby. So Cole, I love you so much, but girl, this was not it. I was just like, this whole segment was kind of crazy.
This is 3 weeks in a row where someone who had been one of the best promos in the business for a year and a half just again wet farts it. What happened?
Really?
This was Adam Cole by himself was not great because he talks about, being proud to be here at AEW, making it to Collision 100, yada, yada. He wants to be a fighting champion. I'm like, sir, then fight. Don't tell me. Just do it.
It's because he's a fighting baby face right now, which he doesn't do well as.
So, but then he gets interrupted by the proto star, Kyle Fletcher.
He made John Moxley look legible.
Ooh.
Really? Do I gotta go look at this? Is it that bad?
Don't go look at this.
I don't know if the camera showed this, but the first thing me and Mama Laguillo clocked was like, I don't know if Kyle Fletcher got stung by a bee or something, but he had a big old knot at the side of his head. I was
that's from one of the matches he just did. He landed hard.
Oof. I was just like, he got cauliflower ear, but on the head. I was like,
that's no bueno.
That's called a hematoma.
It was like full miracle, like somebody stuck like a bouncy ball in there.
The fuck? Really?
Wild. But
we get sky blue.
Can we see it here?
No, you can't see it because again, we kind of saw it, but not, we were able to clock it from where we were sitting, which
from the
was great.
seats. You could just see this thing.
But then again, they also had the screen up on the rampway, like projecting the talking from the ramp too.
Oh, okay.
But Kyle Fletcher comes out and he's like, I want to fight you for this TNT championship. Then Daniel Garcia comes out. It's like, no, I want to fight for it. Adam Cole's like, let's make it a triple threat. And Kyle Fletcher's like, no, we ain't going to do this because I pinned the TNT champion and never got a match for it. And Daniel, I love you, but I was laughing so hard because it's like, well, congratulations. You beat Daniel Garcia, Kyle. Hell, who hasn't? That was not the thing to say. Ooh, that was not great, y'all. Oh my gosh, hold up, Kilt Man right here. He's like, this is my first time I've seen Adam Cole, and my immediate reaction is, why does this look like CM Punk and Michael Cole had a love child?
Wow, Kilt was on that one. That's relatively accurate.
Not too off, yeah, not too far.
That's not
So Kyle and Danny begin bickering back and forth. Adam Cole's because they have a match in the main event tonight, a Collision, and then it becomes a number one contenders match for the TNT championship. And Adam Cole ends this segment by saying, may the best man win. And I'm like, Kyle's going to win.
That's winning 100%.
Yeah, I think Kyle needs to, right? This time we should be in the age of Kyle. Kyle's been fantastic.
When we get to our predictions, Adam Cole, I love you, but this title going bye-bye. I think it's going bye-bye.
Transitional champion.
Yeah, but we'll talk about it when we make our predictions because right now, let's get into our first match of the evening, which was the first match that actually got recorded. This became a triple threat because Nick Wayne and the Patriarchy wanted in on this match during a backstage segment. So I was like, Okay.
which I love.
So we are getting Shelton Benjamin, who was amazing. And those running knee strikes are still a thing of beauty to watch and hear. I'm like, oh my God, Shelton Benjamin, I love you. But he is taking on Kevin Knight and call me Nick Wayne, Wayne's World, Nick Wayne over here, our ROH TV champ. This was a really fun match. I will say it was fun watching Nick Wayne play the chicken shit heel and running away for the first chunk of this match. And then him and Kevin Knight teaming up to take down Shelton Benjamin. This was fun. I enjoyed it.
Nick was bouncing all over the place. He looked so fluid in this match. I was
just
excited.
like,
Whatever he did in Japan has rubbed off so
I was
well.
gonna say he was bringing he's bringing the energy that he brought at the Best of the Super Juniors in Japan, because this is exactly how he was flying over there, which was great. Same thing with Kevin. Kevin was also pulling out this energy from the Best of the Super Juniors. I'm like, AEW, send more people to Japan. I'm kind of disappointed we're not getting any AEW girls heading to Japan for Stardom's tournament, but that's okay.
Well, who would at this point? All eyes are on Mercedes Moné. You haven't built up anybody else in the division to go there.
That's true, because Anna Jay did really good in the 5-star tournament last year, but you know
She
what?
did good this evening.
Because like, we're gonna talk about that. I thought it was fun, but we'll get to it because there were some issues I had with that match. But this was a fun match. I enjoyed this one. Kevin Knight wins, which is great.
He's hurt and he still wins.
Yeah, that's the story we're telling. I was just like, Jet Speed 8, I don't, unless they pull a crazy one, I don't think Jet Speed's win in All In. But yeah, we shall move on from this because
we need to.
That's the photo.
You grabbed
this is the only
audio
photo.
farting and Yuta just hiding from someone else.
This was a weird ass promo. I'm sorry, y'all. This was crazy to watch. Because listen,
Wow.
I'm here for bilingualism, but I was just like, Claudio and dare I say, Max, your subtitles suck. I'm sorry, your subtitles are bad. But Claudio makes a declaration that Death Riders are coming for the Ops to take the Trios Championships back, and Wheeler looking like he belongs in My Chemical Romance, like tribute band. So I'm just like, this was a weird segment. Wheeler, why were you here?
I'm his hype man. Oh,
Wheeler's been getting misused for a long time. I'm not sure if they know what to do with him.
And it's weird because I find whatever he's doing with Chris Statlander interesting, and then he goes back to this. I'm like, this is kind of stupid, y'all. I'm not even going front.
but that's the
So-
fun transition. You see both sides of him, and which side is he going to go with?
That's true. So unless it's on the main card or it's probably going to be on 0 Hour, I'm pretty sure we're getting a Trios Championship match. I mean, I would love to see it on the main card because I feel like it would kind of suck to put Joe and Nada and Powerhouse Hobbs on the pre-show on 0 Hour, but I'm not the booker, so I don't make these decisions.
On top of the fact that it's going to be them being cost those titles by Hook.
That's right. Hook is still running around in this weird story. Like, we don't know what's happening anymore. But we move on. I cried like a little bitch during Mystico's entrance because we had no idea he was going to be here. I cried. We cried like a little bitches. It was wild.
The level of standard of work in this match was higher than anything I'd seen in the last couple of weeks. This was such a fun thing to watch, and it did not.
This is worth me watching, huh?
Yes, Hologram alone working Hechicero was ridiculous.
So yeah, so we get this trios match. This is the face team of Kosher Pickle, Mark Briscoe, Hologram, I want his vest. And we were very surprised with CMLL's owned Mystico. I cried like a little bitch again. Taking on the team of what they're pronouncing now is RPG Vice. I'm like, they're still Roppongi Vice to me, but I get the whole, name thing. But we get Rocky Metal, Trent Beretta, and also from CMLL and Mr. Hechicero himself, the Alchemist of CMLL. This was so much fun. This was a lot of fun. I had a
It
good
looks
time.
like it would be.
Yeah. You can't say anything else except that, like, it draws you in. You're not at all wanting for pretty much anything in this match, and you get comedy, you get high flying, you get amazing back and forth. It just was so good.
I had a great time. We'll talk about it after our segment because match ends. Baby faces stand tall. They're celebrating. Mark Briscoe is hitting the air guitar during Mystico's theme song because it was great. Well, I should say Mystico picks up the win for his team by hitting Mika, his finisher submission move. But then, of course, on the Titantron, we get MJF and MVP. This is pushing the narrative of what we're getting tomorrow night on Dynamite, where MJF is like, I don't know if I want to have this talky talk, Mark, but we're going to. It is great. We love to see it. But he's like, I'm not sure if I want to talk to you, but you know what? I ain't no punk, so we gonna have this talkie talk on Dynamite next week. But I roll with my click. He tells Hologram to head back to the hotel because nobody wants. He's not here to talk to him. He's here to talk to Mystico and Mark Briscoe, Jabroni and El Jabroni. And then, of course, in this unprecedented times, MJF does the ultimate heelish mood and use that for full advantage. He's like, why don't you two, I don't know, do what poor people do and go count food stamps or something? I'm like, not anymore. But I was like, ooh, again, this is what happened. This was what.
Damn.
Now, when this happened and tape, this all happened before what happened last week, but we won't get into that. With the Spanish, man, yes. But then again, I'm not surprised. This man wrestled in Japan. He knows Japanese, Spanish. Like, I want to know what other languages MVP knows. But we get the talkie talk. And we also find out that Mystico is also going to be involved in this men's casino gauntlet with All In. So that's going to be everything. Kill. Everyone is poor. I mean, you're not wrong. Also, the exclamation point that I truly loved on this was Mark Briscoe after they disappeared off the Titantron was, well, kiss my ass. I was like, Mark Briscoe is all of us right now. He's the hero we need.
There's nothing more you can say about that. I just want to see how this is going to work out in the gauntlet now in less than 5 days. Like, it's going to be so much fun to see how they play around with this. There needs to be an actual jar of pickles involved somewhere.
Please, that would be
there's got to be. There's got to be something with the talkie talk that's like, hey, I brought you some pickles. Like, there's got to be something.
Do the callback. If they do the callback, it will be so good. But we got to move on. Behind the scenes, they had played Mystico's song for like 6 minutes. It turned into a whole concert. Even Nigel got his phone out to put on the light as the whole crowd, like, they dimmed the arena. The lights were shining. The crowd was singing Mystico's song. I cried a lot. I said that a lot, but that's okay. It was such a fun moment, especially in these unprecedented times. I was just like, oh my God, I actually got to see Mystico on US soil like this. Best day ever.
Yeah.
So we got to move on though, because again, the order of everything we got, I'll tell the true order when we get done with this, but we get the Max Caster Platinum Max Challenge. And I also screamed tears of joy because Max plays with the crowd with a little bit. We give him that energy. He's like, I have to be a heel because I want to say y'all are awesome because we played along with everything Max wanted, which was great. But unfortunately, he sets the timer for 5 minutes and he's waiting to see who pops up. And we got the return of Scorpio Sky
with Christopher Daniels.
And Top Flight and Layla Gray. Apparently, all of them are now a faction. They are the new they are the new SCU, which is great. Oh my God, I've missed Scorpio so much, JBL.
He has gotten like beefy since he went away.
600 and something odd days, they said. I'm like, no, it can't be that long. And then I looked it up. And I'm like, oh God, it has been that long for Scorpio.
It's been 2 years.
I know not who this is. I'm excited.
So let's see if we could get the rundown. So before going to NXT, Scorpio and Ethan Page.
Sorry, mind blown. Sorry.
You good?
No.
Anyways, so before going to NXT, All Ego and Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky were like men of the year, and then that kind of fell through. But Scorpio was a big part of like the TNT championship division. Him and Sammy Guevara had some baller matches.
Christopher Daniels won the first All In. They were in like him as SCU. Like they were a tag team for the first little bit there on the first days of AEW.
Maybe I do remember this then. Maybe I'm just old. All right.
So Scorpio Sky beats Max Caster in less than a minute. I've loved Scorpio. I am happy he's here. And he is back. I'm excited to see where he goes, as well as where this whole new revamped SCU is going to go. So excited. Love it. I love Willow. I just wish she didn't have a squash match. I love you so much, Willow.
There's not much you can say. It's a squash match just to set up the Wheeler Yuta and Statlander thing. She's so much more involved in so many other things. I want to see her fighting Marina Shafir again. Like something.
Right. I will say, though, because when we talk about the women's gauntlet match, we're going to talk about Willow because I have some theories. But we got to move on. Backstage, this on again, off again, like will they, won't they friendship of Anthony Bowens and Daddy Ass, Billy Gunn. I don't know where we're going, y'all. This is getting kind of crazy. Like, I'm just like, either this is a shit or get off the pot moment. Sorry for the cursing, but this is it. Either break them apart or keep them together. We can't be having this on again, off again thing. I was so upset.
Please, something.
Please.
They don't know what Anthony Bowens is about. How can you define him?
Is it he's stuck because creative won't let him branch out? Or is he just sort of in between storylines, or dude's talented and incredible. They just
It's-
have no momentum behind him. Like, what's
I mean,
What's
that's part of the problem, and also at least Max has his gimmick, but since they split Max and Anthony up and, the Acclaimed are no more at this point for right now, both of them have kind of like been listless. Max has had more success because the gimmick of his has been getting over with fans, but Anthony is kind of just stuck. He's very talented, but there's no substance of story behind him. And we're still on whether him and Billy Gunn are still going to be a team or whatever. I was just like, we need to start moving somewhere. Either break them up and truly let Anthony go on his own to something, or whatever this is. Like, it's time. It's time to close this chapter, y'all. I'm sorry. I love him, but we got to close this chapter and start a new one.
Let's do that then. Let's just close the chapter then. Move on.
So let us move on. This match, y'all. Oh my! This was. Like, again, I was there live. This was a 30-minute match, and this was the second match of the evening after the Kevin Knight, Shelton Benjamin, and Nick Wayne match. This is the second match they gave us in the evening. My God, for 30 minutes, we were glued. Our eyes were glued to the ring. Like, we were all the whole crowd was up behind their seats. I would like to shout out Turbo because apparently he is also diabetic. So because we saw the little patch on his arm, but which was really fun, and it was a really fun conversation because it was like, you're gonna go flying and you're gonna get hit. How's that gonna stay on? Which was really fun. But we get
pulling a shatter machine out of nowhere.
So FTR versus the Outrunners. Like, this was my favorite match of the whole entire night. I'm not even going front, y'all. This was so good, and I was just like, FTR as characters, I'm questionable on certain things. Like, this is a weird, like, where we're going. But hot damn, like, if they do not pull out some bangers, like, they're always involved in the Collision tag team matches that are always like match of the year contenders with me. Like that, what was it? That 30, 45 minute, almost an hour match with Juice Robinson and Jay White that they went to 2 out of 3 falls. This match, I'm like, ooh. And you know what? The Outrunners, we love them. They're gimmicky. They're comedy. We love them. This was the best I have seen these boys. And I enjoy everything that they do, but this made me think, I'm like, oh my God, let's put them in the tag team championship scene. Give them a run. Like, for real. Whenever FTR becomes tag champs again down the line, let the Outrunners be the ones to take it off them. Like, give these boys a title run.
They need a full title run and not just one where they're transitional champions. Like, they can make comedy gold out of this.
But yeah, Professor, go out of your way to watch this one. For me, this is match of the year contender for me.
It's close.
Really? Yeah, I need to go check out this Collision. It sounds like there's some stuff in here.
It's almost like it's a special Collision that actually did really well.
Right? It's like 100 episodes of Collisions, which is kind of crazy. Who knew? But
what happened to Rampage?
So Rampage,
we're dark one.
Rampage is on the shelf. It's been on the shelf since the end of December, which Alice Adolfo's wife was very, very sad it ended because that was like her show when she covered AEW with us. But she still keeps up with Collision and Dynamite, which is
That's
great.
what's funny is Rampage was the one that I would catch every now and then because I was free, and now I gotta find a way to.
Rampage was the weirdest thing. Rampage, where all the weird stuff happened, but it
was
also
so
had some
random.
of the
It was
great
great.
stuff.
Well, but that's because Dark went away because that's what Dark was. Basically,
That's also true. Yeah.
And then Elevation. Everyone remember Dark Elevation?
Man, the early days of BC WrestlePod and AEW coverage was wild for all of us. But I will say this, though. Yeah, the Outrunners hitting a out of nowhere shatter machine on FTR was nuts. And we didn't see it from where we're sitting, but TV showed it. Like, I'm sure we might get a rematch down the line because one half of the Outrunners from coming in for the save. So I'm like, there's got to be a rematch. But oh my, this match ruled. Whether you like comedy wrestlers or not, the Outrunners, I feel like in this match show, be like, oh no, they're actually a legit tag team. Like,
they really are.
Like, so good. Behind the scenes, Tony Khan actually rose both FTR and Outrunners' hands after the match. They didn't see like the boys embrace. Like, this was, oh God, this was so good. We got to move on because, match of the night, match of Collision, match of the whole entire week of AEW for me. I love all these women. I want to preface by saying that it took us a while to get to where we need to. I'm just going to, for me at least. Now, again, we didn't know we were getting this match. Mama Laguillo is the of the Thunder Rosa fan club.
She got to see Thunder, which is great.
Yes, but she also had a problem because of the fact that Thunder and Athena left like half for the match to do a lot because, again, we're playing into what is building for Friday evening where Athena's defending her title against Thunder at Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor.
Right.
Okay. So I feel that these 8 women, had they been paired correctly with an opponent, I feel like would have made things smoother. Tekla and Queen Aminata, definitely a good pair. But then you have like Megan going up against Anna, and Anna, girl, I love you. But one-on-one Anna and Megan, we already seen it. It didn't work out for Anna. Now, when Ty came in and they double team Megan, that made sense to me.
Yeah.
But I felt like because we had some missed pairings for the first half of the match, it took me out of it. And then once everyone, I will say though, Julia, girl, I wish you got to do more, but you are looking so good in the ring. I was just like,
why was it not Penelope?
that's what I was saying. Why was Penelope not in the spot? I love Julia, but Penelope should have been in this match because that's what we've been building. Tay are taking on like Penelope and Megan as a tag team, but like Julia, I love you, girl, but I feel like you were miscast in this. I'm sorry.
A little bit.
It was still great to see.
If you haven't watched this week's Hey EW,
Oh my God.
Mike with Megan Bain and Penelope Ford, the amount of destruction that woman wreaks on that.
I thought we were watching, one of those smash rooms. I was like, ugh.
Professor, you want like absurdist comedy and like straight up, like seriously, like it's straight up experimental theater fun.
RJ City and Hey AEW, the weekly thing where he sits down with the wrestlers and just asks them the most absurd questions.
Oh, I'm gonna pull this.
Listen, in the last couple of weeks, we got baited because one half of Aussie Open, Mr. Mark over there, RJ City full blown asked him, is just like, so a bear in the gay community, and he goes through the definition. It's like, do you consider yourself a gay icon? And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And Mark is like, I do. It is so good.
One of the best like side project things in wrestling you can watch right now.
The Abaddon one killed me. Beast Mortos one was crazy. Like literally, you got to check these episodes out. RJ City is a gem, and he will always get the flowers from me, especially once we learned he had a help in writing the Mariah May and Tony saga that we saw.
It's on their actual YouTube channel.
Yes, it is.
Great. Okay. I'll because I was already subscribed. I was like, wait, what? All right, let me take a look.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, you got to watch it. But the bad girls pick up the victory. Athena, Tekla, and Julia Hart with Athena pick up the win over Queen, Thunder, and TJ. I will say this was my least favorite match of Collision, but I got to see Megan, and I've been wanting to see Megan since I was introduced to her in GCW. So I'm excited.
Exactly.
So, and actually, let me see. Megan's the first time. Tekla's the first time. Surprisingly, this is the first time I've seen Athena live too, which is crazy.
There you go.
And Tay, because but anyways, I digress. We got to move on.
I mean, you met Queen Aminata, so that's pretty cool.
Queen was so good. Her and her girlfriend are so beautiful. I love them both. But we get into our main event. This is a number 1 contenders match. Winner goes to face Adam Cole, Bebe at All in Texas. This was also a bop. Daniel Garcia bled a lot. Yeah. Danny bled. This was crazy. Kyle Fletcher's finisher looks so devastating all the damn time. I'm like, oh God, somebody check on this man. But
we knew what was going to happen here. It was these two can put on such good clinics. Technically, it's so much fun to watch, and seeing Danny work from below on a bigger opponent was a lot of fun to do. But Kyle was going to roll through him no matter what happened on this. That's all I got for it. So
I was going to say, I was like, oh, okay. So again, this was a good back and forth. I think Daniel and Kyle did their thing. To nobody's surprise, Kyle Fletcher ends up winning, beating Daniel Garcia. Daniel's been on a losing streak, and I feel like since winning the TNT Championship, he's kind of been cursed. Like, the booking for him has been so bad. And, like, I feel so bad for Daniel Garcia. But Kyle Fletcher wins this match, and he ultimately gets to go face Adam Cole at All in Texas. And that brings us to the end of Dynamite 300 and AEW Collision 100. This was a fun taping. The 4 hours went by quick. I can't believe it was over when we got through everything. And Tony Khan like dropped some hint, but not really. Because afterwards, Tony Khan wanted to thank everybody. He talked about how AEW has brought so much to the wrestling community and how much the fans play a part in that. He shouted out the guy who was wearing the anti-fascism shirt, which was great to watch, which was also got on TV too. I died with the, Kyle Fleshlight section. I was just like, oh God. But he wanted to thank everybody, and Tony Khan get with the times. He's like, I want to thank all you guys, gals, and the non-binary folks and everyone else in between too. I was like, you go, Tony, you be progressive in these times. And he ended by saying, he's just like, thank you so much. Southern California has always been a great crowd, a great turnout, and we'll see you for the next Southern California pay-per-view. I'm like, are you telling me we're getting another SoCal pay-per-view this year, Tony? Because please. So we'll see. But yeah, gentlemen, Dynamite 300, Collision 100. This was a really fun week for AEW.
This was amazing. This was so good.
So
Yeah, there's some stuff I gotta go watch, it sounds like. That sounds like match of the year contenders in here.
Oh, absolutely. Again, the FTR Outrunners match was my favorite match on Collision, but it also ended up probably being my favorite match from AEW this past week, which was so good and so solid. And I had such a blast. But we are done with the regular review, but we are not finished with our full-length review, because now comes the time where we got to make predictions for y'all in Texas. So we are going to be doing a watch-along this Saturday at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, because I was just like, it's going to be an early start. There's so much.
Had to.
Yeah, there's
had
too much
to.
wrestling this weekend. I'm sorry, y'all. This is crazy out here. And I'm just like, what are we doing with our lives? But
Counter programming.
or at least trying to. I'm gonna be so for real. I was just like, again, I've been saying this leading into this weekend. I'm like, if y'all are going to counter program, y'all gonna make me interested in what you're offering. And as soon as I saw Gunther and Goldberg, I was like, oh, this was an easier choice. AEW boys, are we gonna do this all in Texas watch along? Yes, we are.
Yeah, that probably backfired a little bit.
Meanwhile, they're sending Evolution out to die, which I'm so pissed about.
I'm angry, and I told the WWE boys, I was like, I don't have to be in my destination next week until Monday. But I was just like, I wasn't planning on doing a watch along for Evolution because it was pending that. But I was just like, these women deserve better. So we were going to give them the spotlight that they deserve, because this build has been shit. But
They're
let's
trying
get,
to kill it.
It's ridiculous. This whole Evolution pay-per-view, just the way that they handled it is, well, here you go, because y'all kept complaining. And I was like, how dare you do that to the women on your roster? But I digress, because we're here to make all-in Texas predictions. So this is going to be an interesting one. So we kind of did this when we did our Evolution pay-per-view predictions on Sunday.
Revolution,
Evolution, all the good stuff. But let's make our predictions. So let's start with the women's casino gauntlet match. So this is how this one's going to work. So for actual points, for you to get the actual point, boys, you need to pick up these 4 options, do we get a debut? Do we get an international star from any of the international promotions in this match? Or do we have a legend of wrestling coming into this one? So, to get an actual point, which one do you think is going to happen first?
I'm going return.
Ooh.
Deonna Purrazzo is going to be in there.
Yes.
Or Britt Baker, just to make everyone go, oh. Yeah, I think return's the easy pick, even though there's a lot of international waters, without a better way to say that.
That's great.
I think return. I'll say return.
That is very true. Man, a return is the easy pick, but I'm going to go with a debut. I think before we get a return, I think we get the debut of Alex Windsor in this one first.
You really think of it first before a return? I think she's debuting in this, but I don't think she's going to be first.
You know what? I'm going to go with the return for you. Honestly, AEW just throws everything at the wall, and so we're going to find out what sticks. So just to be safe, I'm going to go.
They probably don't know.
That's true. Honestly, if we get, Alex Windsor debuting, Deonna Purrazzo coming back would be great. I would love to see Sheeta come back in this one. Sheeta being in here would be fantastic. So we all pick, we get a return. Now, for a bonus point for the women's gauntlet, so this does not count against your final total, but if you somehow manage to pick the correct winner, your bonus point will cancel out any wrong predictions. So let's say you make a prediction wrong for the TNT Championship match, but you got the women's gauntlet match winner correct. So that bonus point cancels it out. And so that counts as an actual point. So even if you got it wrong, it kind of fixes itself, which is kind of great. So boys, in the plethora of just so many women to choose from, who do you foresee walking out as your women's casino gauntlet winner and therefore getting a future championship shot?
Megan Bain.
Did you took it, Adam? I wrote that down. I literally wrote that down.
Because it's
so
right.
Again, this doesn't count against you if you get it wrong, but if you get it right, you get that cushy bonus point to help you down the line.
Man, John squared for the win. Yeah, I think it's Megan Bayne. I think it's fun. I think she should. I think she's tearing it up. I don't want to say the only one. I think she hasn't had a storyline yet, and this would be a big win for her as Behemoth. Let's see. You could do more with her if she wins this, I guess.
That's
For
very,
me-
very true.
For me, it sets up both ways. If Mercedes wins and then Camille comes out of nowhere, you've got Bane versus Camille setting up to try to get to Mercedes.
Yes.
Otherwise, if Tony wins, we have the run back of them after that. So, I mean, you've got set up there for it.
That's very, very true. Do I want to bet to try to get this bonus point, or do I just want to go with my heart?
You're going to pick Jamie Hayter just for the hell of it, even though she's still injured.
I know. Yo, if Jamie came and won this thing, I'd be like, yeah, okay, this is great.
I mean, Mina in there winning was also something I was thinking. I was like, that would be super cool.
So, yeah, I thought about this. I'm probably 100% wrong, but, that's usually kind of helped me for some odd reason. I'm going with Willow on this one to win. I think,
I don't hate Willow.
honestly, for me, it was between Megan, Willow, or Chris, one of those three, but I'm going to go with Willow on this one just to be the contrarian.
Do it.
I think Chris, they don't know what to do. She's kind of in story purgatory, which is a shame, and they shouldn't be. I think they gave Willow the big push the last half of last year and sort of into this year, and now they've kind of stalled it out for some reason, so it's possible. My head goes to Megan Bayne because I feel like it's her turn. Like John was saying, with running it back with Toni Storm should be incredible. Like she's doing the social media, she's everywhere. Think it'd be a smart pick.
Right. Alrighty. So now let us get into the men's casino gauntlet match. Same first question. What happens first? Do we get a return, a debut, an international star, or do we get a legend?
Or if passed away. Yeah, I don't know what legends are around to bring in. We have had an influx of international stars, so that's possible.
And do they count as a return if they were just on like Dynamite or something recently?
See, now we're going to argue about the stipulation. Maybe it's a debut. Maybe I've talked myself into it's
A debut.
and now making his debut.
As opposed to a night butt. It's a day butt.
That's very true.
Day.
So Professor is going with.
I'm going with return. I'm going to put on the line here, not to be the easy answer. I'm going to say the return we get is we have Dalton Castle show up.
Is that a return or a debut?
He's been on Collision before.
Do you think it's Dalton Castle?
I'm putting out that it is. It's
teasers.
not going to be, but that is my answer there. That who's returning?
If Dalton Castle, man.
God, I hope not.
My family's making plans for Saturday, and I want to watch Dalton Castle show up.
I am in the middle of a retreat with the theater board that I'm on until 5 p.m. that day Eastern, so it's going to be fun.
Man. All
It's
right.
gonna be a fun watch along. Be like, well, you heard it first, internet. You get me for a majority of this until everybody else shows up. So we Gucci though. So now, bonus point. Who do you think wins this thing? I'm gonna be so for real. I have MJF winning this.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm looking at the field, and possibly because I'm also looking at down the line when we talk about our Texas Death Match. I was like, who could be a possible first feud or somewhat of a feud for Hangman Adam Page if Hangman walks out as champion? And I'm like, MJF, I feel like, because we've also been getting teased. They still got history that they need to, continue on with.
We did Hangman MJF not too terribly long ago.
At one point we did. And I'm trying to think, I'm like, who else could possibly win this thing? So, but I'm like, I can't think of anyone else at this point. I mean, Swerve and Will are not in this because they got their own match happening. So, because if they were in this thing, I was like, my money's either on Will or Swerve, but I'm going to go with MJF on this one.
No. I had a pick and now I'm changing my mind because you brought up an interesting point.
While the professor thinks, JVL, do you have somebody in mind?
Konosuke Takeshita.
That is very true. What a way to send him to Japan, too.
I think that'd be amazing, and it's right there with Kyle taking the TBS championship, and you're going up against Hangman. Oh, give me that all day long.
For reals. All right, so I got MJF. JBL has Takeshita, which means Professor. Who you got?
I was trying to pick someone from the Dom Callis family.
Your best bet is Takeshi.
Because in my head, those are the only ones that would have the momentum and the words to do it. I really wanted to pick somebody else, but Tony Khan's not going to pull the trigger on Brody King or some of those other folks that I would love to see win that thing. Dar Fox, sure.
In the perfect world, Brody King would win this one, because especially of the work he's been doing over the last 2 months. And I was just like, listen, he made the news with that abolish eyes. Give this in life for reals. I want good things for Brody King.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to steal John's pick and say
that is, all righty. So now, again, we still get into the tougher territory. So now let's get into our actual matches. So Young Bucks versus Swerve Strickland. Remember, if the Young Bucks lose, they are no longer EVPs of AEW. And if Swerve and Will lose, they cannot challenge for the AEW World Championship for a year. I don't know. I'm like,
I think it's the Young Bucks now that we've gotten the stipulation that we've gotten from Will and Swerve. I would love Will and Swerve to win this. I think they would be incredible. And then we'd have to figure out what do we do running the company, which could be pure comedy. I think it turns into a split between Will and Swerve. We could have matches for them, revenge, whatever things, and then we can build up to All In a year from now with some other Young Bucks stipulation. So that's the easy writing on the wall for me, because I think it's going to be shenanigans. It's not going to be clean. They're going to do some sort of heel thing here, but this could potentially be the match of the night. They're going to go all out on this because all four of them know how to go.
It's actually All In, and we already had All Out. Couple months ago.
Sorry.
All Out is in Toronto in September.
We're back. All in, all out, all detergent.
I will say though,
All together now.
I will say the pay-per-view schedule is going to be stacked because we have All In. Next month is Forbidden Door. September is All Out in Toronto. So alrighty.
I'm going Swerve and Osprey. I'm going to go against it. I'm just going to go with my heart.
Sure.
Oh man, this is
It's tough because Mikey can't be like the only winner now because he has to go with one of us on this.
I abstain. No, just kidding. Okay. I'm gonna go with Swerve and Will only because like the booking in me says that I think that the tag team the tag team angle. I don't think what I'm saying is that if Swerve and Will lose, the writing needs to be impeccable because your top two stars for a whole entire year are not allowed to challenge for this championship. So I'm also going to go with my heart because I feel like Swerve and Will should win, but who knows? We'll see what happens. Nick, hi, buddy.
Hey,
What's
We're in the middle of our
up?
predictions for All In Texas. Nick asks, watch along this weekend for All In and wants to invade for a match. Yes.
well,
we
get
will
in
be-
there, man. Get
We
in
will
there.
be doing a
Forbidden
watch along for
Door.
All In Texas, which is going to be great.
And the Johns can't be there until later anyway.
I know, yeah, the
So-
Johns are there after the fact.
So it will just be me holding down the fort until the Johns get there. Sure.
I'm so
This
pissed at the Fed for doing this because we could have seen it at a normal time. Would have been fine.
I know. Forget the Fed. So Professor has the Young Bucks, and then JVL and I have picked Will and Swerve. This still should be one hell of a match, though. I'm excited for this.
Yeah.
This is also one where I'm just like, so we have an AEW World Tag Team Championship 3-way match. We are getting the Patriarchy versus the Hurt Syndicate versus Jet Speed. A little bit of a weird addition to the Patriarchy in this whole entire thing, which means to tell me that either Patriarchy is going to take this pin, most likely, but I have Jet Speed walking as the winners for this one.
You think so?
Because I'm thinking of, the tag team championship scene. And I'm like, if Hurt Syndicate retain it, that'd be cool. But also, we know that heel versus heel feuds don't tend to be very good unless you write them very well. So FTR has been poised to be the next ones up to challenge for the titles. And as much as I would love to see FTR and Hurt Syndicate go at it, I think you get more gravitas out of Jet Speed being your babyface champions against FTR. So I'm going with Jet Speed on this one. However, I don't think Bobby or Benjamin take the pin in this one. I think that's why Patriarchy is in here. And to even push it a little further, I actually think Christian's the one who gets pinned in this one. That also depends on what happens with Nick the day before on Friday. Because Nick has to defend that title against Titan, which is going to be amazing.
That's huge.
Nick, this graphic looks like a 6-man with Lashley and Shelton.
It kind of does, actually. It looks like the wrestling shows. This is Team Sheldon versus Team Bobby Lashley. Like
with,
two
with
different
the two
things.
devils on their shoulders.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. I got Jet Speed in this one.
I think the Hurt Syndicate's retaining. I think Jet Speed's gotten hosed enough. I do think this will be awesome, though. I just don't see Hurt Syndicate dropping it here.
Alrighty. JBL, who you got in this one?
For all the different reasons you've put out there and for everything else that you guys have said, you're very right about a lot of different things out there, but you're wrong in the fact the Patriarchy is taking this. They
got 3.
They got added in late. There's been the talk of they want to set it up as the first father-son team to win
That's
the titles.
also true.
Sure.
Which is hysterical to me. And Mr. Cope is at the point where he's almost ready to come back, and they need to start pulling that storyline out when they can. I see the Patriarchy taking this off them, and I see Shelton taking the pin by accident because of MJF shenanigans as Jet Speed are out of the ring.
Oh,
I
don't hate that.
So I'm excited. We all have different things, so somebody's going to be right. I'm excited. Alrighty. Nick Wayne, honorary Nick Club member, talented but kind of douche.
That's fair.
Very true. Different energy at best of the Super Juniors. It was kind of nice seeing him being a little bit more of a baby face, but it was still pretty good. But we move on This is probably the easiest pick for me. This is the TNT Championship. Adam Cole, baby, defending the championship against Kyle Fletcher. I'm picking Kyle Fletcher for this one. I think Kyle is ready to hold a singles championship now in AEW. So I'm going with Kyle to be our new TNT champion.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with my heart over my head. It should be Kyle. I hope it's Kyle. It's got to be Kyle.
Three
Adam
picked,
seems like
all Kyle.
Hey, we went from all different ones to all Kyle.
This is
Kyle.
I love his Blade superhero, supervillain thing that he's been doing the last few months.
I want
I
those
don't-
glasses he comes out in all the time.
He ever since that Osprey match, he's kicked himself up into that you're a main eventer and you should be. And
Right.
he's held that ever since.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah. I would take that over not Shawn Michaels' cousin. I just think that's what makes sense. It doesn't seem like Adam Cole's heart's been in his promos or
No.
here.
He needs a
Not
revamp.
sure what's going on. It sounds like there's behind the scenes shenanigans that he might not
Could
be too
be.
happy with as well, but that's the tabloids. But I think it's Kyle.
Yeah. But I feel like it's Kyle's time to start running with a championship in AEW now.
And he's what, 26, 25, 26?
Young.
24,
Still
I
young.
think?
24
He's
even?
24, 23, yeah. So Kyle's great. Give this kid something to do. Like, cannot
Strap the
wait.
rocket
Give
to
him a
him.
championship run. It's time. So we move on, though. Oh, man, this one's really tough to pick.
I'm taking
Because, yeah, I feel like you have more to go with Kenny chasing Okada. This match is going to be great, but I'm also going with Okada too, because you can't have him jump shit to the Don Callis family and him not win. Sure. I don't know, though, because I can also make an argument for Kenny, but if I had to pick, like,
what you do.
head buried in the sand, and I had to pick one, I'm going with Okada for this one.
Hasn't Kenny lost like the last 3 of these?
Both of them have kind of lost an equal amount, which also makes it very hard to pick.
Because I was going to say Kenny until you mentioned what you mentioned.
Yeah.
Because in my head, Kenny's just kind of there to hold up other folks and lose. But now that he's got there,
Yeah. And Ibushi's there backing him up too, because there's a tag team to come right out of this.
That's
maybe it
also
is
very true.
Okada. Maybe it is Okada. I
The
have been
Golden
swayed.
Lovers challenge for the tag
Been
champs.
swayed.
Let's go.
And maybe that's what happens for a bit. Maybe that's what Kenny wants. All right.
Yep.
So this is gonna be fun. This one's really hard to call for me. Like I said this before for some of the other matches, but I literally might just have to flip a coin for this one. And like my head says Mercedes is gonna win, right? Because she's gonna be the Thanos of the AEW and all these championships or all these other international promotions. But I can never, and it really hurts. My heart never wants to bet against my girl, Timeless Tony Storm. Like, you know what? I don't care if I lose the point. I'm going with my heart with this one. I can't bet against Tony. I'm probably gonna be disappointed, but that's my girl. I can never bet against the Timeless one, especially since the promos have been so freaking good. I'm gonna go with Tony on this one, but I can't bet against Tony.
I think Tony should win. I think they're going to keep Mercedes Moné as this untouchable belt collector for a while now that she's gotten the momentum she's gotten. And then it's going to be Tony chasing or Tony evolving or Tony whatever after the fact, which is always fun to see. But her promos are still going to be on point no matter what. I just don't think for some reason Mercedes isn't losing. They really want her there the entire time. I hate picking against Tony. I just don't. I hope that I am wrong because my heart says Tony, and every time I go with my heart, I'm wrong. So I got to do the headspace thing.
So I got Tony.
JBL hurts. JBL's in pain.
JBL, no. Let me give some insight while JBL gets like 30 more seconds to think about this for a little bit, okay? We have been following Tony since the inception of BC WrestlePod, and JBL can attest to that. Like, this girl has been on our radar from Stardom and the Independents to the Mae Young Classic to
NXT UK, everything.
NXT UK, all that stuff. Main roster fumbling her, and then her reinventing herself and killing it here in AEW. Like, she has become our girl. And she's also a fellow Bi-Con as well, because, she's part of our little community. We love her. Juice Robinson, you are a very lucky man. So, though, the question needs to be asked. Who you got to walking out as AEW Women's World Champion at Y'all in Texas?
I predicted it weeks ago. I didn't want to predict it. I'm still going with it. Mercedes is going to take it and belt collect. Prove me wrong. I will, same as Mikey, I'll take that hit, and if I lose a point, prove me wrong, Tony Khan. But
right.
It's going to Thanos.
Oh, man, I'm excited because this pay-per-view is going to and honestly, I'll get on my soapbox a little bit. I love that we can't really tell where this is going to go because we can make arguments for both sides, which makes Predictions League so spicy and so much more fun. Whereas compared to a certain other federation, we could probably guess who is walking out winner, and it kind of makes things stale because we're like literally in a whole tie.
This better be the penultimate match. This better
Yeah,
be
do
right
not
for
put
the
this
death
in the
match.
beginning or
Oh,
the
yeah.
middle of the card.
Yeah.
This needs to be towards the tail end. Like,
I think
open with
because they've
this,
got
I will.
Because they've got the casino gauntlet matches, I don't think they will. They're going to open with either the women's or the men's gauntlet match.
The card. This needs to be either semi-main event or like, yeah. I honestly space out the matches. Have Okada and Kenny like towards the middle. Have this be the second to last match, and then you can go straight into Hangman and John Moxley, which we're going to talk about right now. There is no other option for me in this Texas Death Match for the AEW World Championship. I am going with Hangman Adam Page. He needs to be the hero in this story. Like, there's no other option. I refuse to pick Moxley. I am sorry, y'all. I cannot pick Moxley because I do not want to live in this world where John Moxley continues to run through everybody who has the potential to be champion on this roster, because Hangman is the only one we got left right now. Don't get me wrong. I love me some Darbs. Darby Allin is awesome. I have the sweatshirt from him. But Darby has been so out of this for so long. He is not the person right now. Hangman Adam Page is the hero of this story, and he needs to finally get this thing back. This is the match. But what makes me worried is that Hangman, for the majority of this, has walked out of Texas Death Matches as the winners. His record in Texas Death Match is great. So I'm a little worried that this is where he's going to lose. But I am going to put that aside because I am going with Hangman. There's no other option for me.
Yeah, but that's probably why it's John Moxley, right?
No, I can't have you cause me depression. I can't watch both Tony and Hangman lose. One of them needs to win.
That's what they're gonna do to the fans to make you watch. They're gonna make Moxley win this by some sort of shenanigan thing to keep us in this sort of purgatory with this championship.
Death match. It's all shenanigans.
Right. Like that's what it's gonna be. I want Adam Page to win this because I think they gotta blow up the Death Riders. They gotta get them all out of there. It's strangling Claudio and Yuta and Mira. Like, they have nothing to do. I think Moxley needs to go be brooding single dad again and then send him out there. Like, that was when it was working. Ever since they blew up the Blackpool, it's been a mess. Like, they have not found their footing. They need to pivot. They should do that here. I have no faith in them doing that. None faith in them doing that. I'm picking Adam Page. Moxley's going to win.
Okay. JVL.
I am picking Aggro Page because in all of the shenanigans, as things are happening, people are going flying. Who comes out of nowhere to secure both the win for Page and also to set up his program going forward, but a returning Darby Allin?
You think so?
Oh my God.
Darby takes out the Death Riders, screws up Moxley, and Page wins.
Darby has some beef with the Death Riders, especially after they pushed him down
Beef
towards.
with Hangman too.
That's true.
But he's also an AEW original.
Is he back?
He's off the mountain 2 weeks now. He may not be in full ring shape, but if he comes back for a 2 seconds just to throw himself somewhere.
Have we seen Darby since Sting's match?
Last time we saw Darby was towards the tail end of last year after the Continental Classic, because Darby cost Claudio a spot in the semifinal match.
Oh, that's
World's
right.
End.
That's right.
After hitting him with the bus, they put Darby's neck in a chair and threw him and the chair down a set of stairs.
Right. That's right.
So my goodness. Y'all in
Oh.
Texas is about to be on and popping. We are doing a watch along this Saturday. It's going to be good. I would like to shout out a BC WrestlePod host for donating a pay-per-view buy for us because he is fantastic and we love Adolfo. So thank you. And because we purchased it via Amazon Prime, which is going to be fantastic. But that has been AEW. Really quickly, I want to go over because we have a stacked Dynamite and Collision coming up this week. We're getting this talkie talk with Mark Briscoe and MJF, and the fact they put it on the graphic as such is funny. Tony and Mercedes come face to face for the final time before the match. We are also getting some phenomenal stuff as well because we are getting this fatal four-way to see who is going to be facing Chris as the number 2 spot in the Women's Casino Gauntlet match. We are, for some reason, getting Samoa Joe and Wheeler Yuta. I cannot take this picture of Wheeler seriously, you guys. Like, what the flip? This is a weird matchup. And then we get an all-star 8-man where we're seeing Claudio, John, and the Moxley and the Young Bucks taking on Shibata, Hobbs, Ospreay. No one get injured, please. And then in Collision, this is going to feed the children. This match that was made this past weekend, This match is going to eat. This match is going to feed the children. Místico versus Beast Muertos. Just AEW, I swear to God, just let these two fly and let them do everything within reason because we don't want nobody to get hurt, especially since Muertos has to go to Mexico on Friday. And Místico is about to be in this casino gauntlet match too. But let them fly. But yeah, boys, this was a little bit of a longer review. I'm going to get us up on out of here. So we got a lot of things happening this weekend. So really quickly, just to go over all the stuff that we got going on tomorrow evening, we got NXT review as we do the go home show before Great American Bash and do our predictions because Great American Bash is also happening Saturday. Lord help us. We are also doing our CMLL review tomorrow evening as well. Thursday, we head up north as Will and I will be covering Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling's Resurrection pay-per-view, which was a lot of fun to watch. Friday evening is our TNA review as we are 2 weeks away from Slammiversary. Then Saturday morning, I will be doing a review for Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor, where we have a total of 5 matches so far. We got Takeshita versus Bandito for the Ring of Honor Championship, Athena for Thunder Rosa for the Women's Championship, Nick Wayne versus Titan for the TV Championship, Lee Moriarty versus CMLL's Blue Panther. This man is like 85 years old and still can go for the Pure Championship. And then for the Tag Team Championships, it is the Sons of Texas, Sammy Guevara and Dustin Rhodes taking on the Infantry. I'm rooting for our boys of the Infantry to finally get these tag team titles, but who knows? But then that is all followed up with All in Texas watch along. We will be doing a watch along this Saturday, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. You will have me for the first half of the show. And then hopefully the Johns can join me for the second half when all the good stuff happens and all the crazy stuff happens. And then just recently announced, as the boys and I of WWE got it together, Sunday evening, we will also be doing a watch along for Evolution because while the build, we care about these women and they deserve the platform. So this is going to be fun. Yeah. But that's going to be, so that's going to be it for us here at All Review. Tune in for a fun week of craziness. So I'm excited. This is going to be a good week for wrestling. And until next time, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay Bi-Conic, and more important than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. We got to get up on out of here. So until next time, this is adios and sayonara. But MXM Collection, why don't you play us out?
Let's get out of here. Johnny TV style. Sebastian! Right in the shot, you bald idiot! You fool! The other way, go!
Thank you so much for tuning in to another Vibe Tribe production. What's gonna happen next time? Well, you're gonna have to tune in to find out. But until then, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, make sure that you keep the good times rolling. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.